Good afternoon from the Circus Sports of the Mid-Kentucky Downs studio. I'm Ross Johnston. The Seattle Seahawks have won their second Super Bowl as they beat the Patriots 29-13 in Santa Clara. Memphis native Kenneth Walker won the Super Bowl MVP as he ran for 135 yards in the contest, making it the first time a back has won Super Bowl MVP since Terrell Davis in 1998. Tennessee and Vanderbilt both took tough losses over the weekend. Vandy lost in a shootout 92-91 to Oklahoma despite Tyler Tanner putting up a career-high 37 points. And Tennessee also gave up another big lead to Kentucky, losing 74-71 in Rupp Arena as they got swept by the Cats in the regular season for the second year in a row. Vanderbilt will head to the Plains to face Auburn tomorrow night, and the Vols will head to Starkville to face Mississippi State on Wednesday. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans of Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Cover 2 with Blaine Bishop and Zach Lyons here on 104.5 The Zone, powered by All Four Seasons Garage Doors. 615-737-1045 is the number. The Seattle Seahawks beat up on the New England Patriots 29-13, and Seattle was just relentless on defense.
Oh, wait a minute. Well, hold on. I missed Buck. How's he feeling today?
I don't know. I wish I forgot to tune in
Is he okay?
at the very beginning, but I am sure he was very, very sad. I'm sure it's everybody else's fault but Vrabel's, right?
Oh, my. I didn't, man, I missed him. I was a little bit later than expected. Dang.
Yeah.
I was just wanting to check on him to make sure he was okay.
Yeah. I mean, the first thing I did was take to Twitter and, tag Buck in a little,
Did you? I missed it.
I
What'd
tagged
you
him
say?
in a gif of like flowers being presented, and it says, "My deepest condolences are with you and your family." It's time.
Oh, I'm so mad I missed that. I'm about to go back and like that.
I mean, listen.
Hey, man.
That defense, I have to give the New England Patriots defense credit. They tried their damnedest to get something done and to give their opportunity to the offense to try and do something. And they just had no counterpunch, this New England Patriots offense. And maybe the counterpunches they tried weren't really landing. The Seattle defense, outside of maybe the Legion of Boom Seattle defense, of course, this is called the Dark Side, which is something I learned last night. I'd never heard that nickname.
I didn't either. Yeah, I guess they had to give him something. That was pretty cool too, though. They needed a name. They got one.
I mean, but the Legion of Boom performance against Peyton Manning in that one Super Bowl. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I mean, two of the most dominating defensive performances that I can remember seeing for a long time and then ended up winning them the game, came at the hands of the Seattle Seahawks. And listen, this was a complete team, the Seattle Seahawks. Credit to John Schneider, credit to Mike McDonald and what they've done, credit to obviously the players, but a complete team. And this is a Seattle Seahawks team, by the way, that has the fifth most cap space in 2026.
What?
The fifth most cap space. Right now, they're projected to have $74 million in cap space. The Titans are projected to have $99 million. So they're not that far behind the Tennessee Titans, who are number one. And everything kind of has worked out perfectly for them these last two seasons. And I know the New England Patriots did a similar thing, building their team and all that kind of stuff. And listen, New England Patriots, they had a remarkable season. But this Seattle Seahawks team was just dominant almost all year. I mean, we've seen them up close here in Nashville. They are one of the more complete teams in the NFL, and it really just starts with the coach, goes down to the quarterback. The offensive line got better as the year went on, but that defense, wow, what a performance from that defense.
Oh, yeah. Well, I said their roster, and I think a lot of people said, their roster was just so much better than in totality. But I'm going to talk about what I said when they played the Titans. It was the best all-around team, them and the Rams, and that was the best division, by the way. And they can beat you in multiple ways. If we need to run the football, if we need to throw the football, with JSN, who didn't even have a good game, but this is another way they can beat you. Or we can just run our defense. And so, and let it just click and get after you. And that's what they did. They didn't try to outsmart themselves, too, by the way.
Right.
I thought Vrabel and crew, offense coordinator, defense coordinator, they got out-coached in this game. Not only did they get outplayed, they got out-coached. They ran the same blitz scheme the whole entire time. Sometimes they changed it up and did zone drops and from the inside, showing pressure. And I was really stunned. They realized that if they got 3-by-1 and however they got to it, whether they lined up or 2-by-2, that they could then run the football with motion with 3-by-1 and then set them up. Things that I love. That's why I love the Seahawks offense, and that's why I like Clint Kubiak, because of his play calling. And his play calling, he set it up and up. Banner open on the 7 route when they kept running that same run play. And then if the tight end doesn't block you, then he's going on a route, and he just didn't even look at him, run right by him, try to change direction, go back. That is what I'm talking about, the setup and sequence of play calling. Yep. And that's what they did the entire game. Darnold, who I think is a solid quarterback, just played okay. He didn't do anything, but guess what he didn't do? Turn the ball over. Excuse me. And as soon as Drake May turned the ball over, you knew the game was over. I know a lot of people thought it was a boring game. It was a defensive game, and I could kind of sign up for that too a little bit. But at one point in time when it's a low-scoring game, I've been in a lot of those games, one score, and they're right back in it. Mm-hmm. One touchdown. Not just
I got
a
a little nervous, ain't gonna lie.
So, they could happen. So it was just one of those games that is probably one to go down, as you mentioned, as one of the best defensive efforts, if not the best. But it'll probably be one that'll be forgotten. To be honest, in Super Bowl history, when you start thinking about some of the games, I just don't think this was going to be on the radar anywhere around it, unfortunately.
Because, everybody wants, 30 points, 40 points. They want to see
scoring. That's what this whole deal is about. So, I thought, it was a good game. To be honest, I really thought Seattle was, after seeing the game, I was like, man, they may blow these guys out if they would have scored touchdowns instead of field goals.
Credit to someone on the Patriots defense.
The Patriots defense played really well.
But Christian Gonzalez.
Well, not really well. They just played, Christian Gonzalez, if they would have won, they would have got the MVP for them.
Yeah.
I was stunned. Defense played solid, except they couldn't stop the run game.
Yeah.
And, the guy was, Walker, he was kind of a change of pace, kind of Le'Veon Bell type. Yep. Slow-paced runner.
And it was fun to watch last night. But this whole playoffs, he's been that way, right? Like, you knew.
And that was part of the run game,
to me, you knew that's the guy to stop. Yeah. And they just couldn't.
Well, they did this one thing. That's what I'm talking about, the 3-by-1. They knew on the backside that they had numbers. And so all they had to do was hook the end guy or make a gap in between him, and there was nobody but a corner over there to get him. And they did it constantly throughout the game. So that's why I say they got out-coached. And we were talking about defense, too, by the way. Yeah, and so that's why I say Vrabel and crew, because they never made an adjustment. And it wasn't about the Jimmies and the Joes. That was scheme. That was system there. So, and by the way, I think that's why Darnold went there, is the scheme of system. He worked with Kubiak before that. I didn't know that. Did you know that?
Over at San Francisco.
Yep, so that's the ticket. And that's how you have a quarterback to come in and have that kind of success. And by the way, did he lead the league in interceptions in the regular season?
Yeah, I think so, actually.
Well, how many did he throw in the playoffs? Zero. Yeah. See, so, and Drake made a lot of mistakes leading up to this point. And I still think Drake May is going to be a good player, but he tried too hard eventually when he turned the ball over, and it was going to happen. You saw he was getting a little rattled, and I'm not a big proponent of this, seeing ghosts. What he did see, though, was the pressure.
Right.
So he wasn't not seeing anything. He was seeing it, and it was sped him up.
Yeah, seeing ghosts only happens when the's no actual pressure around.
Right.
this was, he was seeing demons.
Of what it really means.
Yeah. He was seeing demons. That's what he was seeing.
So he was speeding up. And by the way, I know Diggs is lit right now. He almost didn't look his way, and the guy was wide open multiple times I saw him. And I could not believe he didn't throw to him more often than not. That was kind of unique in itself. I don't know if he thought they were doing something or not. Maybe that's where he saw ghosts. He saw ghosts in the coverage. He didn't know what was going on. But, it was just one of those games. It got interesting at the end. But, it was, as Cam Ward would say, we got to live on, That note, it was mid.
Yeah. I mean, I thought, that left side of the offensive line, and really from the center to the left side, was just, they abused it. I mean, and listen, they were getting abused throughout the whole playoffs, too. So it wasn't just this game.
Right. Mm-hmm.
But they had the difference between the prior defenses that they faced and those teams the Patriots faced was that the Seahawks actually had a healthy quarterback or a healthy and mostly fully complement of weapons on the offense. Justin Herbert had 7 or 8 string, 7th or 8th string offensive linemen out there protecting him. The CJ Stroud just could not do anything.
Horrific.
And then you had Bo Nix goes down the week before they face him, and they're facing Jarrett Stidham.
In the snow.
In the snow. And so this was a team that was like, they just stayed healthy, and they were a complete team. And even if, to the point, the offense couldn't convert into touchdowns except for that, the one big one, they just played complimentary football. And I think that's the biggest thing about the Seattle Seahawks team is that, hey, it wasn't all on Sam Darnold, whereas it really the pressure got put on Drake May, right? I mean, the defense was doing their job. It was time for Drake May to, make some plays. And at the end, I was kind of surprised by some of the throws he was attempting to make and not trying to move the ball down the field a little bit more efficiently, because that's what they had been doing the whole season.
The youth really showed at the end.
Yeah. I think that second half, it just seemed like the youth, I think the youth showed up, and I think the youth showed up on the offensive line too. And you could see Morgan Moses, Mike Vrabel, everybody's trying to come over and talk to the offense and get them to calm down, and it just couldn't happen.
Yeah, I really did. They got out coach. I'm going to tell you this one. The Weatherspoon blitz. How many times have you seen that from other teams?
Yeah.
You see the Titans do it.
Yeah.
They did it with him.
That thing's been around for ages. I mean, like, what were you doing? You didn't have a game plan to stop that? Like, that was just coaching. 1-on-1. Like that shouldn't happen. I get the first time, but then that just shouldn't happen.
Yeah.
I just felt like, oh man, this is absurd. This is not about they just have better Jimmy and Joe. This is about schemes and systems, and they got out schemed. They got cooked. And you can blame McDonald, and I still saw some plays that, the Titans would run, and, hey, let's just run up the middle in philosophy, and, oh, it's 3rd and 5, and being super conservative, 3rd and 1 or 4th and 1, don't go for it. I mean, like, they did it. They got out coached. It was nowhere around.
That one 4th and 1 where he didn't go for it, and Vrabel didn't, he punted, I was like, oh, it's over.
Now, there's a thought. I said, well, okay, why would he do this? And so I said, well, maybe because they feel like they have a better shot of their defense helping them get better field position because he doesn't believe in his offense getting a yard.
Yeah.
And that would be considered a turnover if he didn't, and that gives good field position. So I'm going to play the field position game. Our defense is playing solid, and our offense is just needing to play better. We need to figure out what the heck they're doing to us. It was really interesting just kind of to watch some of they changed a few things up with some zone blitz schemes. They show one way, and then they dropped different directions. It was pretty unique. I just to bring confusion, and let alone they still just say, "Oh, we're just going to rush forward."
Yeah,
and then still get after you. Guy making one-hand sacks and just dude couldn't anchor.
I mean, that was a rookie-on-rookie crime.
Yeah, that was See, they got beat in multiple ways. It wasn't just about the Jimmy Joe. They got beat all the way around. So, yeah, it probably was a boring game, I guess.
It sounds like a pretty exciting game.
When you describe it.
When you describe it.
When I'm watching, because I love defense.
I thought it was a great game. I was
enjoying
it.
See 30 points.
I was enjoying it.
I know Ross. He wanted to see 30.
That's because that's
35.
the wide receiver in him.
Oh yeah, definitely, Ross. what was the game? Was it boring or not?
First half I thought so. Second half was fun, but like to your point about the blitzing and stuff, I don't know if this was a specific in their game plan, but they kept sending it off Campbell's side and getting him isolated with somebody. And if he wasn't getting beat, the pocket was getting so collapsed because he was getting driven back.
Right,
so you could see from like midway through the first quarter on, Drake May's kind of just,
But here's my thing. Where was the adjustment?
I know, that's what I'm saying. They're saying the same thing.
I'll say this. This felt like a couple of games I've seen here at Tennessee under Mike Vrabel, where it's just like the adjustments never showed up and they just kept running the same thing. And listen, you've seen that from every head coach in the NFL. They just sometimes do not make adjustments for whatever reason. But I thought coming out of the halftime that we would see a totally different New England offense, and we saw the same stuff. We saw the same defense.
Yeah.
And that's, to me, what was more surprising. Not that halftime adjustments are technically a thing, but you have a longer Super Bowl halftime.
Oh, yeah, and
It's a
way
different
longer.
situation.
And it's
10
way
more minutes.
longer.
Yeah, it's there.
And you didn't adjust any point in the game. You didn't adjust at halftime. You didn't do any kind of adjustment.
You guys need to play better. That's all that seemed like he tried to say.
Yeah.
It was nothing.
I mean, I am with you. I was a little stunned at how it went down, but then I also think of like, I kind of was texting Stoney because Stoney said that, Drake May's kind of like Ryan Tannehill. And I was like, well, your Ryan Tannehill comp came up. It just came up in the playoffs when Ryan Tannehill threw 3 interceptions. And here's your Ryan Tannehill comp for Drake May at the playoffs. I mean, it kind of felt a little bit like that Bengals game. And I've seen a couple people in the chat say that too. But it really did last night kind of was like, the defense is doing enough to win this game for the Patriots.
The Hilton Milton guy, whatever his name was, in the slot.
Mike Hilton,
A free agent pickup that they got who won the Super Bowl last year with the Eagles. I mean, I don't know. Like, I know it comes down to the offense, and I know that people want to blame Josh McDaniels. Boston radio and fans already want him fired. But you also probably don't get into the playoffs without Josh McDaniels. And I don't know. Like, I know the adjustments need to be made. I don't know who that ultimately falls on. I'm going to assume the head coach ultimately falls on that. But at the same time, you don't get this far without Josh McDaniels. I mean, you may be one and done in the playoffs, but you don't even get to the playoffs or get the winning record without having someone like Josh McDaniels. Do you think you're making it to the Super Bowl with Todd Downing or Tim Kelly as your OC? Probably not.
Yeah, I'd say there's a difference between the two of those guys.
I would say so.
Yeah, to your point, they're not getting to where they get without McDaniels or Vrabel, honestly. But like you said, when they're coaching mistakes, we don't know because we're not in the locker room. So it kind of just, to the public perception, it falls on the head coach. And it is his first game as a head coach in the Super Bowl, not as a player. Obviously, he played multiple, but it was just kind of disappointing to a degree. I mean, I feel like they didn't run a lot of screens, a lot of just quick game, get the ball out, get into our playmakers' hands. And they were just letting Seattle pin their ears back and get after him.
And, they didn't use TreVeyon Henderson a lot. And I think that's been a huge issue all year long anyway, not using TreVeyon Henderson more to spell Ramondre Stevenson.
Because I think he's a better player, to be honest. I think he's faster.
He's faster, more explosive.
But yeah, there was an uptick in speed just on my TV when I saw him get the ball.
Yeah.
I was like, whoa, they need to leave him out there.
Yeah, Pop
Like
Douglas.
they would give to Pop Douglas. He's
Kyle
making
Williams is another speed guy.
Well, we all know the history of Vrabel. He has his favorites.
He does.
And it is what it is. Whatever position you want to call it,
right.
It is what it is. And that guy every time he got in the game, he would have a long run throughout the season.
He had like a lot of 50 or 60-yard runs.
This guy, I'm like, hey, man, he needed to just keep him. And the other guy was having fumble problems.
Yep. All right, coming up next, we'll talk more about the Super Bowl. We'll also get your guys' phones, 615-737-1045. We want to hear from you and your reactions about the game. This is Cover 2 with Blaine Bishop and Zach Lyons here on 1045 The Zone.
It's okay, Buck.
Cover 2 with Blaine Bishop and Zach Lyons here on 104.5 The Zone, powered by all Four Seasons Garage Doors. 615-737-1045 is the number. I just have to say that, I know we've said it a few times, but what Mike Macdonald was able to do last night is what every defensive coordinator wants to do. Rush 4, it be effective, and be able to, win that battle, right? Win the battle in the trenches. But also what he kind of did was everything he was kind of doing was simple for the players, but difficult for the offense. And I just thought there was a time we were just talking about it, but there was a time where Chris Collinsworth is talking about, that's what this New England offense wants to do. And they need to do is spread it out. And they spread it out one play, made a big play, spread out all the defense. And then as soon as he's saying that, they come back to the field. And in the middle of him talking about, goes back into condensed formations and loses yards. I mean, it kind of just felt like you look at the whole situation. And I just go back to what you said. And I think it went coaches got out-coached, then the players outplayed each other. Yeah. Like it really started with the coaches first. I know a lot of people say, well, nobody could have won with that version of Drake May or that offensive line on the left side. Well, if someone would have put them in position to succeed and switch things up when they saw things working, maybe they would have had a chance. But they didn't even try to do any kind of adjusting on the offense or even on the defense, and made life pretty easy for the Seahawks defense for the most part.
Yeah, I would have changed it up. And Chris Collinsworth hinted on it a little bit when they spread them out and they started doing the hurry up a little bit, and they start getting into a rhythm and a flow. It was like, oh, man, they should do more of this. Nope, they went right back to boom. And I was like, uh-oh, that's putting the curtains on. Hey, man, don't do that.
Yeah.
Vrabel said, don't do that, McDaniel. Nope, we got to go back to let's slow this game down. Let's run the football. I think that's what they need, especially in the second half. That was they start pulling away, and that's the only reason why they were doing it a little bit.
Yeah.
To me, that was like reading the room. Like you got to see what's working because you got to at some point let go of man. We're going to run out of time. There's not enough time to keep this up. Now we've gotten too far behind. Once it got to 12, that was the time that's like, all right, let's go.
Yeah.
And it just didn't happen with the scheme, the system, and what they were running. There was no way the time was going to run out.
I mean, you're right. I mean, Stoney brings it up right here, and everybody's kind of talking about. But the time that they scored the touchdown is when they kind of went up tempo and quick. See? But that's too little, too late, right? You're going up tempo out of necessity, not out of real game planning. Yeah. And again, it was working and worked pretty effortlessly. You got Travion Henderson the ball out in space on a few pass plays. You let him also run it to the outside, got him involved, but then you got all these other different players involved. And it was working, but it was too little too late at that point. I mean, again, outcoached all day long, straight up. Yeah. No doubt. Mm-hmm. How do you think Vikings fans are feeling this? Because I've seen a lot of revisionist history about, Vrabel and his time with the Titans and how, well, if Vrabel would have stayed, maybe the Titans would be in the Super Bowl. And I'm like, well, you guys don't even know what this Tennessee Titans team looked like at that point if you thought this team could be in the Super Bowl. But the Vikings, had a really good team. They won a lot with Sam Darnold. And I know that there was some disagreements between the GM and the head coach and all this kind of stuff. But ultimately, the decision was made. Sam Darnold is going to Seattle. I mean, if you're a Vikings fan, I don't know, like that probably is a big gut punch to watch Sam Darnold win that game. But also, I know the Brian Flores Minnesota Vikings defense is pretty good. That defense was on another level.
Yeah. Well, I really don't know the whole situation. You read stuff on X and you don't know what's true or not. They're saying that that's why the GM got fired, but then you hear that the head coach really didn't push for keeping Sam Darnold. So I'm like, I don't know what's true. What I do know is Sam Darnold's won 15 games back-to-back seasons with two different teams.
Yeah.
So you can say what you want to say about him. Led the league in interceptions and didn't do anything to turn the ball over in the preseason. Playoffs, and then last year he stunk it up in the playoffs when he was with the Vikings. So it's really hard to say. Maybe he just needed time to grow, be around the right system and the right players and the right coaches for him to have success. You just can't pin it on one thing. I firmly believe that. there's always a multitude of things that, when you're playing as an athlete, whether you get playing time or not, or the coach just not your guy because the other coach drafted you and you really were trying to prove that, he's not the guy. There's all kind of stuff that goes on like that. And just because one guy doesn't play doesn't mean he stinks. He's horrible. He's sorry.
Yeah.
All that craziness. Like, that's just, blasphemy. So that's why I love the Darnold story, because he had to have some mental fortitude and toughness to him to get to this point, because he failed at a lot of different stops, and then he started having a little bit of success. Then some people showed that they believed in him, and then he flew.
Because the talent was always there.
Always there. He always had talent. This man, I'm sure you watched his workouts, right?
Yeah.
Throwing the ball, man. I put him in the top 5 in NFL history. Just some of the throws. He was the guy, if people don't remember, that rolled out in his individual workout with nobody, defending,
right,
and then threw way back across his body. It was like everybody's like, "Oh my God!"
Before Zach Wilson did the same thing.
Yeah. Right. So, right. Yeah. But you also got to know what's in between the ears,
right?
Too. There's two different things. It's not just about talent.
Exactly.
But, people get caught up
it's also about the people that are in charge of facilitating that talent, right? Like, did the coaches themselves, Adam Gase and all those guys, they didn't really help facilitate the talent, right? That was there. And you could see spurts of it, right? You saw what Sam Darnold could be even at the Jets, but he just never found the right support system. And then he goes to Carolina, and the support system is a tad bit better, coaches, fits, and all that kind of stuff. Again, not spectacular or anything. Then he goes and sits over at San Francisco, and we know that San Francisco knows how to coach up quarterbacks, and he gets some time to reset a little bit. Then he goes to Kevin O'Connell up in Minnesota.
But that's where he met Kubiak, though.
Yeah.
See?
And then he comes over to Seattle.
And he says, "Hey, I know what this guy's got."
Yeah.
And there you have it.
And I will say this. We were a show that floated out the idea that Sam Darnold, I know you floated out Sam Darnold before I got on the show, but we floated out the idea that maybe the Titans should sign him. In fact, in my offseason plan, I said I had them signing Sam Darnold. Now, let me tell you something.
Not to say that it would have worked
right
with Tennessee.
Whether Vrabel was coach in 2025 or Sam Darnold was your quarterback in 2025, this team wasn't making the Super Bowl.
No.
It did not matter.
It didn't matter yet. Nobody.
Would you have been better? More than likely. But again, this isn't like I told you guys so. This is just to say, we both have recognized the talent of Sam Darnold. Now, he was definitely not as bad as what people think he was.
Right. Well, also, we were looking at your numbers guy, the value you could get out of the first pick, and then how you could get a quarterback at a modest price, considering he's a starter in the National Football League with some experience. And, some people just can't look past the failings except for what he did in his recent stop. Like, some people just said never get by it. He's a bust. And you just say, well, man, I don't know how much success, let's say if you would have put some of the great ones in the same environment with the Jets, they had success. Maybe they had a little bit more, but they weren't 20 years old when he got there, So he probably learned a lot around the way, going to all the different stops. And that's probably what made him who he is today as a player. So I love his journey. And was it exceptional? No. Was it good enough? Yes, he understood the room. Don't turn the ball over, and guess what? We'll win this game.
And sometimes they won the game even when they turned the ball over.
Right, when he did, because he led the league in it. So didn't in the playoffs. Though.
$13.4 million cap hit for Sam Darnold this year heading into the Super Bowl. Next year, obviously, it jumps up. And it jumps up considerably to $37.9 million. Yeah. But again, they still have, even with that $37.9 million, $74 million in cap space. And it was a good contract. It was a contract similarly structured to the Baker Mayfield contract. And they got every bit of money off of it in the 1 year. It doesn't matter what happens with Sam Darnold, and this team going forward. That was worth the money. Whatever you got your Super Bowl, is worth the money. But they are in a great position. And John Snyder, one of the best GMs in the game, Mike McDonald clearly is one of the best head coaches in the game. I thought that he has kind of shown that over the last 2 years, but he really stepped it up this year. The more comfortable he gets, the more comfortable that Sam Darnold gets in year 2. The biggest question, though, goes back to one of your favorite play callers is leaving them to go to Las Vegas.
Yeah, how much I heard him.
Who is next man up?
Wow. Oh, do we know? I mean, is there somebody on their staff? You know better than me.
There is Andrew Janico and Jake Peets, who are both two guys, quarterback coach, and I think pass game coordinators. There, but they've been with the Kubiaks and Shanahans and all that kind of stuff for a long time.
They get an elevated title when they go to the next stop.
Right. So you got to promote from within, or you got to try to find one. I don't know who you find. Like, I mean, which one of those guys goes to Clint Kubiak, right? Like,
well, neither one may go, or maybe one goes.
Right.
Or
both. Oh, so you got to start making your moves now because, listen, Mike McDonald's been good. You know, they had Ryan Grubb, who ended up getting fired and going to Alabama with Kalen DeBoer this year. And then they got Clint Kubiak. And Clint Kubiak showed that he has a good feel for the game, a natural feel for the game as a play caller. Who knows what kind of head coach he'll be, but he's at least got that. Mm-hmm. That's a really hard thing to find in a play caller. That natural feel for the game like Clint Kubiak does, that ability to find and create space.
But people think that that's easy.
Oh, we've seen him firsthand here. It's not easy.
It's like, man, what is he doing? Practice on video games or something?
Yeah.
Like this is something that you have to go through this process to get to that level. Calling plays, you have to see a lot of different things before you get to that point. I just, man, everybody acts like it just as easy as
yeah, so you can even promote Jake Peets and Andrew Jonico, who have been around and seen Clint Kubiak do it, but you don't know if they can do it.
Right. That's what
you know what I'm saying?
Like, you just don't know.
I mean, like you could hire Brian Callahan, but how's that going to work out for you?
He was around it, but you know.
And I know, I mean, like the rumors were that he wanted Sam Darnold here, you know, like in free agency. So, I mean, rumors are rumors, right?
Oh,
yeah.
Wow.
No, that's according to Nick Sussin, the Tennessean, and sources, quote unquote, sources.
Well, he put that in an article?
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, but, you know, again, who does it benefit? Who are the sources? Stuff like that, you know, all that. But, like, you're going to bring in Brian Callahan and expect the same kind of success? I don't know if you can expect that. Like, that is really, really hard to do and find and replace. And you're having to do it third year in a row as a head coach. And this is the pitfalls of having a defensive head coach and having to constantly find offensive coordinators if they get picked up and get head coaching jobs when they're successful and they've earned them.
Yeah, you know, people in the chat, I mean, does Kubiak turn around the Raiders, though?
Oh, I don't know.
I mean, that's going to be a process. First, he doesn't even have his coaching staff, right?
Right.
So you got to get that in order. Then you let the people doing the drafting and what you need in that draft and let them do their work. So that it's going to be a process. But if they get back to even, like, you know, winning 7-6, you know, off the bat, I think that's a win.
That's a great sign for them, especially because it's more than likely going to be done with a rookie quarterback.
Yeah, I mean, so come on, man. I mean, people are asking, you know, for too much. You know, everybody is not the same situation going to different places. It's just not the same.
Yeah, I mean, like, you can't expect a huge jump with the Raiders and the Titans getting new head coaches this year.
What about that guard that the Raiders have? You said you talked about from Memphis.
Dylan Parham, my guy from Memphis.
Yeah, I didn't know he was from Memphis. I said, oh, my, this is why Zach's all over.
I liked him heading into the draft. I was hoping the Tennessee Titans would, because at the time he could also have center flexibility. And I was like, well, you know, Ben Jones is getting a little older. You know, let's go ahead and be planning for his eventual departure. And he's showed up pretty well.
What's his size?
I have to go back and look. I'm not entirely sure off the top of my head, but I mean, he's definitely good guard size. Dylan Parham.
Parham, yeah. Is he a good athlete?
It's Parham, but Parham.
Yeah. Is he a good athlete?
He's a pretty good athlete, yeah.
Why was Pete Carroll rotating him in and out around?
I don't know. Why did Pete Carroll and Chip Kelly and all those guys do anything? I don't know.
Right. See, and that reason why I said that
that was never the reason before then,
would
you know?
Say that, he's not doing up to par. He's not very good.
not up to Parham.
Yeah, Parham. Right. I see how you did that. So you can't always kind of just look at the surface of why a coach made a decision. Maybe the coach wants to be right about another guy that he wants to play.
Yeah.
That goes on all the time. And boy, would that just perturb me when I'm sitting there watching this. Like, what are we doing? Everybody on the team knows this guy is better than him.
Right.
It happens all
It happens
the time. All over the place.
I mean, I know Ramondre Stevenson technically wasn't a Vrabel guy, but you could just look at the Super Bowl last night. You telling me that Clint Kubiak wouldn't have found a way to use Travion Henderson?
Oh, my gosh.
I mean, I don't know. Like, I just thought that. I mean, that is typical Vrabel, though. I mean, like,
Man,
I'm not
I wasn't stunned
surprised.
at all.
Not surprised. But I mean, I wouldn't hitch my wagon to Ramondre Stevenson as hard as Vrabel did last night. It was something.
Do they have the same agent or something?
Ooh, I don't know. We need to look into that.
Something's got to be up with that.
Yeah. But I do like me some Dylan Parham. I think that could be. I was.
You don't even know it's measurable.
Well, I forgot.
6:30?
I forgot that he was even a free agent. I thought they had already extended him, but I guess they just let the rookie contract roll out.
Isn't somebody on our staff that
Both of them, Carmen Brasillo and Dave Ziegler, both were on the Raiders staff when they drafted him. Ziegler as GM, Brasillo as offensive line coach. And
you think they really liked him after he got there?
Oh, well, they sure started him all those both years.
No, the coaching staff started him.
Well, Brasillo, the offensive line coach, at least, got a lot out of him.
He did. That's what I'm saying. I don't know. Sometimes you get to really see if you really like a player or not. And you didn't sign him.
I'll be interested to see.
That will be hilarious.
He had a RAS score of 9, so the athletic score that takes in the 40-yard dash and everything of 9. He is 6'2", and is 6 inches, 6'2" and 6 1/4 inch or something, 6 1/8 inch. 311 pounds, 33.5-inch arms, and 10.25-inch hands.
Oh, that's good. He can hold really good.
And he's got some good he's got good anchor, and he's got some good athleticism to boot. So, I don't know. You replace Kevin Zeitler with him or bring him in, let him and Jackson Slater battle it out.
How do you battle it out if they sign him to a long-term deal?
I mean, battle it out. Sorry, I should have put quotation marks out there.
I know, I was teasing. Like, there is no battle. He signs for $10 million or more years. Like, that guy's going to win it.
Right. And he would more than, no offense to Jackson Slater, but Dylan Parham in his 5th year is probably going to beat out Jackson Slater.
Slater did pretty good in that spot play.
I think he did. Man, for a 6th-round draft pick out of Sacramento State.
No, he looked all right.
All right, let's talk more about the Super Bowl and how it relates to the Tennessee Titans, and we'll get to your phone calls, 615-737-1045. This is Cover 2 with Blaine Bishop and Zach Lyons here on 1045. This is
He said he's built like Ross.
Hey, it's Zach Lyons. If you wear glasses, you already know the struggle. I'm constantly looking for them, waking up blind without them, knocking them off the nightstand. Don't even get me started on vacation. Swimming, forget it. Fogging up, smudges, scratches. My whole day revolves around these things so that I can see. And the truth is, I've been dealing with blurry vision for years. Glasses help, but they're also a hassle. And lately, I've been seriously thinking there has to be a better way. That's when I started hearing from colleagues here at Cumulus who had vision correction done by Dr. Horn at Vision for Life. And every single one of them said the same thing. They wish they'd done it sooner. So I did my homework, I read their reviews, and decided it was time. I'm going to have my vision corrected by Dr. Horn at the end of this month, and I'll walk you guys through the experience step by step before, during, and after. If you're tired of dealing with glasses, contacts, or blurry vision, don't keep putting it off. Call Vision for Life at 615-436-2020 or visit visionforlife.com to schedule your consultation. I'll keep you posted, and trust me, I'm excited to finally see clearly. Cover 2 with Blaine Bishop and Zach Lyons here on 104.5 The Zone, powered by All Four Seasons Garage Doors. 615-737-1045 is the number. I've seen quite a few people say like the best shot to dethrone the Seahawks would have been like a healthy Bo Nix versus the Denver Broncos, or the Buffalo Bills if they would have made it in. I don't know. I mean, Seattle just was a wagon all year round. I don't know if you can really play that game. I thought the Patriots tried their best. It's just that I don't know what offense is truly going to stop or slow down what Mike McDonald did last night with 2 weeks of preparation. And maybe Sean Payton can be that guy. I don't know. But I think it may have been more entertaining. But Seattle just has been playing complimentary football all year long. And this is the same team we've seen all year long. And they beat a bunch of teams on the way to the Super Bowl. It may have been more fun, but that's about it. I think Seattle would have been a favorite no matter what.
It's hard to disagree. I never really play that game.
Yeah.
Because, the teams that make it now, anybody can be beat on any given day, and maybe they were just fortunate enough that they won some games maybe they shouldn't have won, or some guys just didn't play their best versus them, and that happens. That's sports. So I thought the NFC was a better, conference overall anyway with the high-end, team. So this team was built all around. As I said at the beginning, I thought the Rams and Seattle were the two best teams. If you wanted to rank them, they would be 1 and 2, and one of them had to make it and beat the other. So that's who I was going to go with regardless. So it's really hard. That's kind of more a fan, deal. We could all hypothetically say a lot of different things. And just like somebody saying if Vrabel was still coaching the team, they would have made a Super Bowl. That's definitely not true.
That's so far from reality. Yeah, it's just unbelievable.
It's tough to say, though. In sports, it's so unpredictable. It's because it's the human element in players. You don't know who's healthy, who's not, who gets hurt in game and not, who's going to perform that with their A+ game, or who's going to just play with their B game. And then all of a sudden, that's not good enough. Who's going to have their coaching hat on at the best, at the right times to make the right calls, scheme, system. So there's so many variables. People, think it's really easy, but it's not easy at all. So I just kind of, I was a student of the game, so I just know it's just not, it's way more to it.
Well, I mean, I think the Super Bowl is the hardest championship in sports to win. I think it's because single elimination, week in, week out. I mean, and
that's a good question.
Well, the NFL is also built on parity, right? Like everything else is, outside of maybe the March Madness tournament and college football playoffs, but like professional sports, everything else is like 3 or 4 games.
That's a question we're going to put out there on Twitter. I think which sport is the hardest to win a championship?
Which of the big ones, the major sports?
I think March Madness is the hardest overall tournament to win, but I agree that the Super Bowl is the hardest championship
because it's just hard to get back to the Super Bowl.
Oh yeah,
right. To even arrive at the Super Bowl takes some amount of luck to your season. Right?
Absolutely.
I mean, it not only takes skill; it takes a lot of luck to get there too. And everything else is like. Okay, well, we take in the top 8, top 11 teams, and then we do a kind of like a 3-game minimum on some of these sports. And then they add in games as the tournaments go on and all this stuff. And it's a best of series. Like, there's no best of series. It's best of one.
So Major League Baseball, NBA, NFL, NHL.
Yeah.
NFL's the hardest.
And NFL's totally the hardest. I think it's the hardest to not only just I think it's even an accomplishment, and I know the Patriots did it a lot, and I know the Chiefs have done a nice run of it. Just being able to go back is so tough year after year after year. The Patriots were able to do it, but the way the NFL sets up their draft, it just creates the whole purpose is to create parity.
But it doesn't mean that it is.
It doesn't mean there is parity.
Because you just mentioned the Chiefs who went on a run. We got the Eagles in part of that whole equation as well.
San Francisco did too. But I mean, a lot of that was luck, right? Brock Purdy had to turn out to be Brock Purdy too.
We can talk about the luck part of it, but the parody part isn't matching up with what's actually happening. That's what I'm getting at. As much as I do agree with you,
right? Well, you get to a certain point, like
but it's the same teams. I mean, not this year,
but to your point,
past, in the last, let's say, decade, it's just. I kind of got tired. I get tired of seeing the same teams win. So when the Chiefs kept winning, I'm like, okay, I'm a big Andy Reid guy, but I want to see another team.
you want to see the Eagles.
Hey, man, I play for the Eagles. Were like that. I'm with the Eagles. Hey, man, I want to see another team. And how does one team just kind of dominate and keep winning? It just so that's happened a little bit. Maybe they are just a little bit smarter than everybody.
That's what it kind of comes down to too. Is your coaching and all that kind of stuff. GM
together.
It's tough too because for the NBA. I see both sides of it because you have to beat a team 4 times to win out of 7, which is tough. But also, you can put up a stinker one night and still win the finals. You know what I mean? Like game 2,
they can have a bad game.
You're up 1-0, you get blown out by 20. You can still win the finals. NFL, you have one bad game, see ya.
It's over.
Like, you're not winning that game.
Maybe that's the difference maker between the other.
Yeah, that's
sports.
what I think is the big difference maker. It's best of 1.
Yeah.
It's not best of 3, best of 4, best of 5, nothing.
I don't know.
Let's go to Captain Tony. Captain Tony, you're on Blaine and Zach.
Captain Tony.
Hey guys. How did y'all enjoy that Super Bowl? I tell you, for me, it was. I know a lot of people that I'm friends with were not very happy with the defensive part of it, but I loved the defensive part of it, especially watching like Greg Cosell and all the guys talk about the stunts and the breakdowns defensively, like being able to actually see that before the game and then try to watch it real time. And actually see it culminate for Seattle with them getting to, I think they got to Drake May 3 times in the first half. So that's just crazy for me. But I just really, my question to y'all today, is especially for you, Zach, and Blaine as a defensive player, like the Titans have obviously went and gotten Robert Saleh. Now they have a pinnacle player on the defensive end with Jeffrey Simmons and hopefully, T'Vondre Sweat. Going with Simmons down to Dallas and stuff, you've got some things going on the defensive side. How do you as a team kind of, or Zach, and Blaine, what would you guys do watching what Seattle and really New England was able to do in the first 3 quarters of that game yesterday defensively, and really with as good as a defensive you had, it almost seemed like offense wouldn't have mattered. So I look at the Titans, I'm like, they don't have a bunch of offensive weapons, but they do have defensive pieces that I think that they could build a defense around. I was just wondering what your thoughts were on the Titans' defense and what they could do to be a defensive team next year.
Thanks, Captain Tony. That kind of parlays into our next kind of topic, is taking a look at the upcoming free agency list from these 2 Super Bowl teams and maybe seeing if there's some fits there and all that kind of stuff. But it's really going to start with free agency, right? Then you go into free agency, go into the draft. It's going to be about roster building, because I do think Robert Saleh is that X's and O's kind of defensive coach, and that can maybe do more with less and still put the opposing team's offense in a bind, like what you saw with Mike McDonald, and even to the Patriots' credit as well. But it's going to have to come down to the players that he assembles.
Yeah, I think every situation is so different. And I say that he already mentioned we have Jeff, we have Sweat. So you say, okay, we're not too far away. We got to get an elite pass rusher. We got to get some corners. So you say, okay, we should be able to do that with the cap we have and free agency and the draft. So we could probably get them up to speed, the defense, to being a really good defense. I'm not going to say elite, right. A really good defense, a
competitive
fast.
Defense.
Right, where you're out there and you say, hey, man, we had a day-to-day. It may be one of those games. Not maybe every game, but you could get there, got to get some corners. And I'm a big proponent of, you don't have to have elite corners. You have to have good corners. I like Devin Witherspoon. I like them coming out of Illinois.
Yeah.
But so... I think you start there and you say, let's get that solidified. That's in my wheelhouse. I'm Saleh. I think I can get that fixed pretty quick. Now we got to get them all on the same page to play it in the elite level as a group. That's a whole different story. But I think I could start there. And then offensively, to me, this is why I like the Seahawks all season, because they can beat you in multiple ways. And that is, if we have to throw the ball around the yard, guess what? We can beat you that way. But our philosophy is we're going to run the football and be complementary football, and we're going to be able to throw the ball. We're going to be 50-50. We're going to rotate our running backs. Going to make sure our quarterback isn't the only reason why we're winning. I think so. You got to get some elite. You got to get at least one elite receiver, and then complementary pieces around in the receiving core with your tight end. And it always starts up front on both sides of the ball. So you got to get a good coach who can. I think that's one dynamic that's really missing in college football is that offensive line play is so different in college than it is pro. And I say that in that there's so much pass protection done, and with the way you can get down the field. And that's not the same in the NFL.
Right.
There's little bitty different rule changes, and then much better athletes. But we could talk about where you can be down the field in college, where in the pros you can't. You can't do that. That's illegal man downfield. That matters. So you got to make sure you don't have to get a whole bunch of first round picks. If you got a good coach, you can get away with it with some mid round. Maybe get some elite tackles. Now, whether that's first round or second round, or coach a guy up that potentially could be that dropped in the draft. I think then once that starts, I believe, me personally, and I'm totally against a lot of people. I'm sure you too probably. I don't feel like you have to get a first round quarterback. I think you have to have a game manager at quarterback that understands the room and is really sharp and makes really good decisions. That doesn't mean he's not going to throw interceptions. I just think you can have a Sam Darnold, a Baker Mayfield type quarterback if you put the right pieces around them. Then, in elite pieces, by the way, with the weapons and a running game, I think you can, like a Tannehill, you can win that way.
Tannehill could win you a Super Bowl.
Yeah, he could. So you don't have
I know,
to.
There's a Bengals game out there
right,
for that.
He played bad, that game. And by the way, he was a first rounder.
Yeah.
But he was an elite athlete. People must not forget, he played wide receiver at A&M at first, and before he got his opportunity to get back to quarterback. So let's not, flout, Tannehill. And he was first round, as I said. Yeah. So I'm a big proponent of that because I want a good all-around team, and it's never going to be just about our quarterback. It's never going to be just about the quarterback. Now, the media is going to make it about that, but everybody on the team knows it's about this whole entire team because they're going to be a game where the defense is going to have a bad day, and they can just run up and down the field on you. Go like, oh, man, we couldn't stop them. And then there's going to be a game where the offense is unstoppable. We throwing around the yard, we running, we doing whatever. That's called complementary football. And naturally, also, we never talk about special teams, but that's always part of the equation. You got to have an elite level kicker and punter and returner.
That punter last night was pretty crazy.
Yeah.
Well, let's continue this conversation. Look at the free agents and just talk about how hard it is to go to a senior or to a Super Bowl. When we come back, this is Cover 2 with Blaine Bishop and Zach Lyons here on 104.5 The Zone.
It's hard.
Cover 2 with Blaine Bishop and Zach Lyons here on 104.5 The Zone, powered by All Four Seasons Garage Doors. 615-737-1045 is the number. All right. So I want to talk about the Patriots, Seattle Seahawks free agencies and maybe some interest from the Tennessee Titans, but also just real quick, because we were talking about there's a poll up at Blaine and Zach, the Cover 2 Twitter account, and talking about, the four big tournament, the championships in sports and which one's the hardest to get. Of course, my vote's for the Super Bowl. But I just want to talk about how difficult it is even to get back to the Super Bowl. Because there's obviously 60 losing quarterbacks and head coaches, right? There's 60 Super Bowls, 60 losing quarterbacks and head coaches. Of the 60 losers that lost their debut, only 5 quarterbacks made it back to another Super Bowl. That's kind of crazy when you think about it. Like, these teams were good enough to make it once. Only 5 made it back another time. Only 2 quarterbacks out of those 5 have went on to win a Super Bowl after losing their debut. And that was John Elway, who was 0-3 with Dan Reeves in the Super Bowl, then 2-0 with Mike Shanahan. And then most recently, Jalen Hurts and Nick Sirianni are the only head coach quarterback combo to lose one together in their debut and win one together in their next appearance. That's pretty wild, but that goes to show you it's not about really anything other than it just goes to show you how difficult of a championship it is to win. And just because you made it once doesn't mean you're guaranteed to make it again.
Yeah, that's sports right there.
Yeah.
I mean, just imagine. Derrick Henry never played in the Super Bowl, huh?
I mean, isn't that going to be crazy that Derrick Henry likely will never play? Hey, listen, there's a good chance Lamar Jackson could not make a Super Bowl.
Or Allen.
I mean, Dan Marino was the youngest quarterback to start the Super Bowl. Never made it back. And lost that debut. And he is one of the best quarterbacks to ever play the game. Yeah. That's why this is the ultimate team sport. Because I know I'm saying quarterbacks, but there's a lot of other players that lost that game that probably never made it back to a Super Bowl either. It's the ultimate team sport and the most difficult championship to win.
The reason why it's easy for me to relate to that because I played with I called him the living legend when I played with him, and that was Bruce Matthews.
Yeah.
He had played 19 years and he got to play in one Super Bowl. We was playing for him.
I mean, isn't
we don't know if you're going to just think how great he was.
And how great the teams were that he was a part of some years.
Yeah. So Warren Moon, never made one. Like, he played in one.
Yeah.
And never played in another one. That there, man, there's a lot of things have to fall your way. We can put it as
look at how Stafford had to get traded to find his way to a Super Bowl.
Because eventually wear and tear gets you 2. So you may do it back-to-back, even if you may lose like the Chiefs, but the wear and tear that it puts on your body as an athlete is just really hard to do, man. That's why I have a lot of respect because their off seasons are shorter. I mean, your recovery time, it matters. Those playoff games, they count, man.
It does.
So, it's just
It's just crazy how that all works. I mean, like Jim Kelly and Marv Levy made it to 4 straight Super Bowls and lost all 4.
Yeah, that was in the early 90s.
And then you had Craig Morton made it to Super Bowl 5 and 12, and with 2 different head coaches. One of them was Tom Landry, one Red Miller. Lost both of them. Fran Tarkenton went 0-3 with Bud Grant as his head coach. Like, it's difficult. I mean, to think about this way.
And any year you're talking about because you're going way back. So
yeah. I mean, that's how far back you have to go, right? Because it's Hurts, Elway, Kelly, Craig Morton, and Fran Tarkenton are the 5 quarterbacks to lose their debut and go back.
Get back. Wow.
And 3 of those probably played in black and white television. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, my.
I mean, that's kind of, think about that. That's how difficult it is.
Ross don't even know what a black and white TV is, man. He's like, that exists?
Not when I was born.
I mean, you may never see the combo of Mike Vrabel and Drake May in the Super Bowl again, which sounds crazy to say, but there's a good chance you may never see that happen again.
Yeah.
Like, that's how wild the NFL, and that's how difficult it is. Yeah.
Drake May, man.
Man, that's crazy.
And I bet you he thinks right now, I'll make it back again at some point. Maybe we may make it back next year. That's
you
how
never
you
know.
think it.
Yeah, you got to think at least you're going to make it back. You can't say, well, you can't listen to these numbers and say, well, I guess we're not going to try. But it's hard because, again, okay, look at the Patriots. They had a fourth place schedule. Now they'll have a first place schedule. Yep. So their schedule is going to be tougher. Their division is going to likely get better as well. So you got 6 tougher games than what you had last year.
I don't know. You got the Jets and the Dolphins.
Well, yeah, the Jets. Okay, I'm not going to say the Dolphins should be
they
better.
changed their quarterback.
That's true.
So we don't know how that's going to play out.
But at least the Bills should be better.
Yeah. Well, the Bills will be good just because Josh Allen.
Who do y'all think has a better chance to get back to the Super Bowl, Purdy or Drake May?
Ooh, that's a good question.
Purdy lost his first.
Yeah. I'm going to lean. Ooh, that's tough because
San Francisco's an old team, too.
Yeah, but Purdy's also in. Listen, Purdy has a tougher road than likely Drake May will. So I'm going to say Drake may make it back before Purdy, but I mean, that San Francisco team looked pretty good this year, but, we'll see. We'll see. That's tough.
Who they get as the DC? The 49ers.
Oh, my gosh. Have they hired someone yet? Yes, they did. Raheem Morris.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's a pretty good one.
Ooh,
pretty good hire.
I'm going to go 49ers just on the coaching. I know you guys are looking at the players, but I'm going to go coaching because that is a part of the equation nobody wants to bring up. I mean, like, a lot of things have to kind of go the way. It got to be matched up with the right player, scheme, system, and you got to have some luck with the ball bouncing
there
away.
wouldn't be much of a drop-off between Morris and Saleh.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I think they could stay consistent there.
And then they were pretty good this year through all those injuries.
Right. So it's...
San Francisco probably will make it before the Patriots.
It's hard to say.
It's hard to say. Let's go to Jason in Murfreesboro. Jason, you're on Blaine and Zach.
Hey, guys.
Hey.
How y'all doing?
We're doing great, man. It's sunny outside and warm.
Yeah, all the haters out there that don't like Robert Saleh, man. Y'all just look about what he did with the Niners this year, with how bad our defense was falling apart and everything. It's kind of like the same deal with Vrabel, where our defense was had the most injuries in the league, and he still, we was in the AFC Championship game with Vrabel. Vrabel, hands out to him, man. He deserves all the credit. He shouldn't have been fired from the Titans. There was the front office that should have been fired. I would say, if y'all look at the Seahawks, look at who they played and who they had the least amount of points against the Niners. That was the only team that had them at 13. Nobody else did that. So just look at that and see how Robert Saleh makes things happen.
There you go. Yeah.
Hope our offense gets going, though, up with Brian DeBall. I feel like we're on a good path.
All right. Thanks, Jason.
Oh, I know.
Thanks.
Yeah, Dayball.
DeBall. It's Dable. We got to get that one going.
Dable like Vrabel.
He would have gotten it right if he called into a different show.
He's got 1 in 3 chance. That's the first time I have seen DeBall or heard DeBall so far on that. Okay, we're going to talk more about this when we come back about Robert Saleh and all that kind of stuff. We're going to go to James and Bear as well on the phones. This is Cover 2, Blaine Bishop and Zach Lyons here on 104.5 The Zone. Cover 2 with Blaine Bishop and Zach Lyons here on 104.5 The Zone. Powered by all Four Seasons Garage Doors. 615-737-1045 is the number. And listen, Valentine's Day is coming up right around the corner. And if you are looking for a last-minute gift, I'm going to help you guys out. For only $25 per person, that's $50 total that you have to spend, you can go get a free appetizer and 30 minutes of curling this Thursday at T-Line. You can join 104.5 The Zone there at T-Line Nashville as we broadcast live starting at 10 a.m. with the Buck Rising Show, followed by us, Cover 2, and 3HL for our Sweep, Sip, and Snack Curling Challenge on Thursday, February 12th. Grab your team, hit the ice, and test your skills whether you're a seasoned curler or first-time sweeper wanting to try the sport. Purchase a ticket for discounted ice time. They get you 30-minute curling session and an appetizer for only $24. 2 tickets, $50. Unique experience for you and your loved one on Valentine's Day. We are going to have so many moments and so many photo-worthy, situations that happen. To get your tickets to get tickets or for more info, visit 1045thezone.com/events.
Hey, I'll tell you, I did that curling Friday night. It's no joke.
I've done it.
No joke.
It is a difficult physical challenge. It is not easy.
Get your heart rate up.
It does. And they got bowling lanes there too, as well, indoor bowling lanes as well.
I want
they
someone
got
to
a
get
nice little outdoor situation. They got a nice bar as well. Plenty of seating. It's a good time for you and a loved one.
I want someone to get a video of Blaine curling on Thursday.
You going to try and curl on Thursday?
You want to get a video of me curling? Why is that?
I think it would be entertaining.
Oh.
See the competitor come out.
No, I'm falling, busting my you-know-what. Then that'll really have a lot coming out.
They give you special shoes.
I know they do have special shoes.
Yeah,
right?
they put little rubber things over your shoes and stuff.
Oh.
All right. Let's go to James out in Ashland City. James, you're on with Blaine and Zach.
Well, hello, John. One thing I love over the years about having you on the air is your knowledge and of the history of the game, especially from the time when I was a kid in the late 70s and early 80s. You may remember me from back in the day. I'm one of the few Rams fans here in Nashville, and back in the day I would call in about Rams questions. And one thing that's been on my mind a lot since the Rams have had their resurgence back in L.A. again is going back in that time in the mid to late 70s and early 80s. I just never understood. First of all, let me go back to the 79 season. That year, the Rams finished 12-4. They beat the crap out of the Cowboys at Dallas and ended up facing them in the NFC Championship game in the pouring down rain in the Coliseum and lost 28-0. I'm sure you remember that game. That was the year the Rams probably should have went to the Super Bowl. And then the next year, they finished 9-7 and ended up beating the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in the NFC Championship game and eventually lost to the Steelers. I say all that to ask you one important question. I know Pat Hayden was undersized. Pat Hayden didn't have a strong arm, and then, of course, in that 79-80 season, the last game of the season was against the Seahawks, and Pat Hayden, if you remember, broke his hand, and Vince Ferragamo came in that game and led them to the Super Bowl. But Vince Ferragamo came out of Nebraska where he ran the Wishbone. So I say all that to ask you one question. Why didn't that damn organization try to draft a decent quarterback? Either before 83 or even the 83 season, and I'll hang up and listen to what you got to say. Thank you so much.
He first of all, he said John. And so I was like, did he call?
That's what.
Is he call the right show?
I mean, I think he's calling the wrong area of the country.
Yeah, is he asking us why the Rams have never drafted a quarterback before the 80s or something?
I enjoyed learning about the Rams' history right there. That was some good stuff.
Yeah, that was when I was.
We've had some long-winded callers today. I just want to throw that out there.
That was during my youth years, and I definitely was watching Vince Ferragamo. They had trying to think who was their wide receiver. They had a fast guy. Oh man, I can't think of his name. He ran track too for the Olympics.
Let's call that guy back.
I can't recall. That was when I was a youth.
I mean, could you have anything to answer
At
his
first,
question?
I thought he was talking about when Jim Everett was there. That was like, oh my gosh! I started rambling in my head. I was like, well, dang, was Deacon Jones on the?
I mean, we've taken some real journeys on today's show with some of these callers to get to a
Merlin
simple
Olsen.
question.
I'm like, man, that wasn't even Barn.
And then to ask us about why they didn't draft a quarterback for the Rams, I don't know.
Oh man.
I mean, do you know why they didn't draft a quarterback?
I'm trying to think who the running back was. I was paying
Oh, my
attention to running
gosh.
backs like that since I was a little league running back. So I can't even remember.
What a phone call. What a phone call. All right.
Man, that was outstanding.
Sorry we can't answer, but I have no clue what the whole point of
watch
that
this. I'm
was.
so ding dong. What was the actual question?
The
Why did
actual
they
question,
draft a quarterback?
the way I understood it, the actual
We don't
question
even know who
is
was in the draft at the
why
time.
didn't they draft a quarterback before the 1980 season or something? Like, I don't know.
I was born 2002. So I got nothing.
I was like 8, bro.
All right, let's see what we got with Bear. Bear, can you get the show back on track?
Bear, can you tell us what was happening there?
Do I have the right show? Is this the Hitman and Professor?
This is it.
I was wondering call the LA by mistake or something. I didn't know what was going on.
Oh man, I wish I could have.
He went through a marathon. But Zach, I didn't know you could sign a player before the Super Bowl.
What are you referencing?
When that Levis last night, it looked like Levis out there.
What happened?
He's saying Drake May looked like Levis. He thought the Patriots signed Will Levis last night.
Oh, no, what the heck? Drake May got that baby face though, man. He looked like he looked young.
I said, man, you'll cut his hair, man, look like, cause boy, that show didn't look like Drake May. That's one of them Raven Steffens, bro. I didn't know, the Patriots.
That's a good idea, man. Maybe they bring him in.
I mean,
Oh no, they already have a
bomb
UT
show.
guy.
Yeah, he had a bum shoulder, so I figured maybe they snuck Levis in there because that's so what it looked like.
Oh yeah. Well, they might have should have thought about putting Dobbs out there.
Hey, he should have tried something. But yeah, I just I really have nothing to talk about. But I just wanted to ask you guys: if y'all ever like look at the team and see a player on a different team that we could have drafted that guy and be like, oh man, because I'm gonna tell you, man is Randy Moss. Everybody skipped out on Randy Moss, and we drafted the first. I know this is your team they blame. Maybe you don't want to say nothing about it, but man, I just looked at Randy Moss and I just know we could have got a couple Super Bowls out of here. And I know everybody's gonna say, well, if we would have drafted Dyson, we wouldn't have had a miracle. I say if we would have drafted Randy Moss, we wouldn't have needed the miracle. So I just got a question. The question for all y'all is there any player y'all looked at that we passed on like, oh man, if we'd have got that guy? And I ain't gonna guys tighten up.
All right. I mean, mine will always. I mean, I don't know if this will be my number one, but the one that I have with the biggest story tied to it is when the Tennessee Titans traded up in the 4th round, and I look at my wife and I go, "Oh, they're about to draft Amon-Ra St. Brown." And we're driving, and to her parents' house is like they're about to draft Amon-Ra St. Brown. Then they go Des Fitzpatrick, and I just didn't talk for the rest 20 minutes. Back to her house. I was like, I'm so pissed that they drafted Des Fitzpatrick with Amon-Ra St. Brown on the board. I just couldn't even talk.
I couldn't believe it. But hey, well, there was a whole bunch of teams that passed up St. Brown. I mean, to be honest, made it to the 4th round.
Well, that one really got me.
Man, I can't, man. Every year the draft is somebody.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, you can always go back and find those like players that you were high on, like. I loved Puka Nacua, and I wish Tennessee Titans could have found a way to get Puka Nacua. And they had many opportunities to do so.
And so did other teams. He went 5th round, right?
Yep.
Well, and like hindsight, too, you can look back and be like, oh, there was a great player taken right after we had a pick or something. But
One guy last night that we actually talked about on this show during last draft season, one guy that was making plays last night, Craig Woodson, the safety for the Patriots, who was out there in with the California defense. And that California defense, we got Marcus Harris here in Tennessee, but they had Noel Williams, Craig Woodson, Teddy Buchanan, who played for the Ravens. I mean, they had a lot of guys out there.
I was stunned when I started watching film on that was impressive.
But Craig Woodson was in that Super Bowl last night.
At safety, he did a solid job out there. I liked how he competed.
Yeah.
Man.
But that Amon-Ra St. Brown, Des Fitzpatrick pass up will always haunt me because I just have a distinct memory tied to it. Okay. I did see one thing in the chat that I did want to address. And I guess it's going to be considered a hot take because I'm about to talk about a head coach that was in the Super Bowl last night. But I don't think that firing Vrabel was the mistake that the Titans made. The mistake was hiring Brian Callahan.
Oh,
now,
somebody,
of course, that's
somebody
hindsight.
tweeted that out, right?
Yeah. But like someone in the chat said that Amy, I have to scroll up, see if I can find it real quick, that Amy was stupid for firing Vrabel. I don't think so. It was the hiring that was the issue, not the firing. And that may be a hot take for some people.
Yeah,
but
I would concur with that.
Yeah.
I didn't like the Callahan. I just didn't know much about him, and I don't go by names and his history and connections and all. The proof's in the pudding. Where was he ever calling plays? Why did he stay as a quarterback's coach and couldn't call plays? You say, oh, because the head coach is going to call plays. Well, then he should have left so he could go somewhere else to call plays. So it should have been on his resume. So that's all I can say about that, really. I can't hire somebody that never called plays and he wants to call the plays. As a head coach? Oh, no, man. We joking here, man. He's got to have a
And obviously the
resume.
Titans could have hired Mike McDonald. And guess what?
I had no problem with the Vrabel.
Mike McDonald here at the Tennessee, kind of like Sam Darnold and Mike Vrabel, we wouldn't have been in the Super Bowl last night. Yeah. But at the same time, firing Mike Vrabel is not the issue. The hiring, the after effects of the hire, they got the firing process correct. They didn't get the hiring process correct.
Well, I just think they didn't vet him. I get where they were trying to find lightning in a bottle, but you got to make sure he checks all the boxes and not having play calling duties and then think he's going to be the head coach at the same time. That's a lot there in a first time head coach. That's just a little bit much for me, for my appetite.
All right, let's go to Rich out in Smyrna. 615-737-1045 is the number. Rich, you're on Blaine and Zach.
Hey, guys. Just a quick question. I read a story this morning, and I haven't heard anybody talk about it on your radio today, and I was wondering why. And that story is about the upcoming sale of the Seahawks.
This is not Seattle, first and foremost.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that's the
Yeah.
easiest answer right there is that, hey, we're not the Seattle Seahawks. But I do find it interesting that they are turning around and selling the team. But,
Yeah,
I mean...
I'll give you a quick summary. The daughter and son of Paul Allen run the team now.
Right.
When Paul Allen died in 2018, the team was transferred into a trust with the stipulation that whenever the kids sold it, that all of the proceeds would be donated to charity. And so now the son is backed off on wanting to be involved, and the daughter says it's probably going to be never going to be worth more. And so they announced this morning, I guess, that it's going up for sale this year.
No, that wasn't this morning. That was already decided before even the Super Bowl.
Yeah, it was. It came out last week or 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, that's not
okay.
But to your point, Rich, I mean, the reason why you're probably not hearing a lot of people talk about it is, well, you got the Super Bowl to talk about.
Yeah.
But also, secondly, is that, I mean, it's not our team that we cover, like it probably doesn't really move the needle for us as a show, especially when we got so many X's and O's stuff to talk about from the Super Bowl to start us off. But it may come up into
It was perfect
more
timing,
relevant information for the Tennessee Titans, maybe at some point, but just right now it's just not too relevant to us.
Yeah, we don't cover the Rams either, just in case
anybody else wants to call in and ask us questions about the 1980 Rams who went 12-4 and lost a game because I started writing down notes because I was like, I know sometimes when these long-winded calls come up, we lose some of the details.
And it ties
so I
into
took
the
all these
Titans.
notes down. I'm like, I still don't even know what the question really was.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my man Kirby told me. Wendell Tyler was the running back. I
There you
remember
go.
him.
Wendell
Number
Tyler.
26.
Good job,
Dang
John.
it. Oh, man, I used to read these running back books and all this stuff, all the different running backs in that era, like the Chuck Foreman and all these different running backs. I had these books. I thought I was a running back. That's how I learned about sweetness as Walter Payton and all these. Wendell Tyler was all these small guys.
Let's
Good
go.
stuff there, John.
There you go. Let's go to Mike in Hendersonville. Mike,
I saw something
that
nobody else saw, that I'd be a running back in the NFL. That would have never happened.
Mike.
Yes, sir. How y'all doing?
Doing good.
Oh, man, we doing good. You doing good in Hendersonville?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Everything's quiet up here, and finally got the power back on, so everybody's happy. Hey, listen, I just like to ask y'all, the teams that had never been to the Super Bowl. Can you name those teams and if they ever have a chance
How
of
many is it?
going?
Like 10 of them, right?
Oh, is that right? Is that many?
I think it's somewhere around 10 or 11, if I was guessing.
I think I got a few in my head.
Do all that. He's typing
It's
away
the
over there.
Browns,
Vikings.
the Lions, the Texans, the Jaguars.
And Titans.
Vikings have made it. Titans have made it.
Oh, have made it. I thought he said who
Not
won it.
won, but made
Did he
it.
say make or
God.
won?
I think those are
who
the
have
only
never made-
four.
He said who have never
I
made
can't
it.
hear him.
Yeah, only 4 teams have never made it to the Super Bowl.
Only 4?
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
dang.
Well, I hope one of them makes it. I tell you, it's a shame, that fans out there don't have to go through something like that. But time will tell, as they say.
There you go, Mike.
Yeah.
Yeah, only.
Hey,
Go ahead.
Yeah, I thought he was talking about the ones who hadn't won one.
Hey, Blaine, playing safety position is the best position on the whole defense. I tell you, you get to get out there and kind of do what you want to do and hit, and I tell you, and my hat's off to you for playing that position. I really enjoyed watching you play.
Appreciate it, my man. Thank you.
There you
All
go.
right.
Yeah.
Y'all take care. Thank you.
All right,
Appreciate
thank you.
So how many teams hadn't won a Super Bowl?
Okay, so
Organizations, yeah.
Cleveland Browns, Detroit Lions, Houston Texans, Jacksonville Jaguars have never made it to a Super Bowl whatsoever. So obviously they also have not won one.
2 teams in the South.
Yep. And then Arizona Cardinals, Atlanta Falcons, Buffalo Bills, Carolina Panthers, Cincinnati Bengals, Los Angeles Chargers, Minnesota Vikings, and Tennessee Titans. 12 teams
so
have
I
never
was
won.
off. I said 10
You
or
were
11.
close, though. That's good off the top of your head.
Dang it.
That's what it was. The Vikings haven't won. Which one did they play in?
Oh, they played in 3 of them. Yeah. And then, because we were talking about it earlier with Fran Tarkenton, 8, Super Bowl 8, Super Bowl 9, and Super Bowl 11.
Early ones.
Yeah. I don't know if they've been in any more after that, but that was just the ones that I know of off the top of my head. So there you go. So there you go. All right. When we come back, we'll go to Corey in Columbia and close out the show. This is Cover 2 with Blaine Bishop and Zach Lyons here on 104.5 The Zone.
They didn't make a Super Bowl with Randy Moss. Legendary coach Lou Holtz once said, before people spend money, they ask 3 questions. Can I trust you? Are you committed to excellence? And do you care about me? Hey, friends, it's Blaine Bishop for EuroFix. And EuroFix has built its business on answering those 3 questions with a bold yes. So back in 1999, owner Aaron Stokes was by himself in a 1-car garage in downtown Franklin. And yet alone a few months later, Aaron moved to a shop in a barn behind his house so he could stay close to his family while building his dream of offering the best service on European vehicles at below dealer pricing. So you fast forward to today, and that barn's long gone, and EuroFix is thriving with 5 locations and more to come. Located in Nashville, Franklin, Bellmead, Murfreesboro, Mount Juliet, as I said, and more to come. All work performed comes with a 3-year, 36,000-mile nationwide warranty, plus a rental cars available with every appointment. So go ahead and ask yourself, can you trust us? Do we care? And are you committed to excellence? And I think you'll say yes when you see how we treat you. So call today to book an appointment at 844-EuroFix. That's 844-EuroFix, or you can check them out online at myEuroFix.com. That's myEuroFix.com.
Cover 2 with Blaine Bishop and Zach Lyons here on 104.5 The Zone, powered by All Four Seasons Garage Doors, 615-737-1045. Though I hesitate to give out the phone number with the phone calls we've had today. Someone said in the chat, the F&M Bank chat, Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, Facebook Live, T-Man616 says, I feel like I'm in a hole in the wall eating country breakfast, reliving the glory days, but nobody's staying on the same topic. That's the way he's describing today's show like.
Is it? This must be the reason why people think we should have this day off after the Super Bowl.
Hey, listen, I would be all about it.
People were partying last night.
Yeah, people were partying last night. Let's go to Corey in Columbia. Corey, this is Blaine and Zach.
And I wanted to address a topic that you brought back about, if we hadn't hired Callahan, because that was a bad idea, who would you have rather them hire from?
Oh, I don't remember
That's
the
good.
candidates.
A question real quick. It's a trivia question. Do you know the last team that won the Super Bowl after missing the playoffs the previous season?
The last team to win, wouldn't it just been did the Seahawks make it last year?
The Seahawks did not make the playoffs last year.
So wouldn't that fit your criteria then, or did I misunderstand?
Yeah, I'm saying so. The Seahawks won last night after missing the playoffs. Who was the last team before them?
I'm not sure.
It would be Tom Brady with the Buccaneers back in 2020.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I guess that would be. All right. Thanks for
yeah, if you could, I would say if you could expand on who you would have rather them hire at that time, and do you think that? I mean, I guess hindsight being 2020, Callahan held on to Will Levis. Do you think that could have changed things depending upon who would have ended up being hired on?
All right, thanks. Okay, so these are the guys, if I'm not mistaken, here's the list of the 10 guys they interviewed for head coach.
No, let's just do the finalists. We don't have enough time, do we?
I don't remember who the finalists were. But I will say this. One of those guys was Mike McDonald.
Oh, okay.
Now, I was a big Mike McDonald, Aaron Glenn. Obviously, that has not panned out well in the Jets, so we may have avoided that. But those two guys were guys that I was really high on. I know that there was a few people in the room, maybe just one person that wanted Dan Quinn, and that person got overruled to get Brian Callahan. But, I mean, it was a good list. Brian Callahan, Ben Johnson, Mike McDonald. Well, Ben Johnson turned him down. Aaron Glenn, Bobby Sloak, Thomas Brown, then Antonio Pierce, Brian Johnson, who was with the Eagles, quarterback coach, Dan Quinn, and Mike Kafka. So that was who they...
Oh, you don't like Antonio Pierce? Antonio Pierce.
It wasn't I don't know. I thought there was a possibility he could be kind of like a Mike Vrabel kind of guy. But I don't know. It didn't.
I don't even remember that. I don't remember who was all on there.
Yeah, they did. They also did an interview with David Shaw at one point from Stanford. Oh. I didn't put him on the list or anything, but yeah, they interviewed quite a few people. But I mean, I personally. I mean, I at the time was fine with Brian Callahan, but just because I was at the time fine with it doesn't make it a correct decision. That's obvious. But what I'm just saying is that was obviously the worst of the two decisions of firing Vrabel and hiring Callahan. That's the worst of the two decisions.
Yeah, I don't think we ever went into depth. All I kept questioning is, play calling is something that. So I wasn't for or against, but I definitely was against hiring somebody with no experience.
Yeah,
with play calling. So it's just kind of. I don't remember any of those candidates. None of that sounds appealing. Even I didn't know much about McDonald at that time, so I wouldn't. I don't know. We didn't go into depth about the coaching hires with the previous guy I was on with, so I never even thought.
Okay, so I do want to touch on the commercials and the halftime show of the Super Bowl. I have to say, the tight ends commercial with Bruce Arians and talking about prostate cancer and all that stuff, relax your tight ends. I thought that was a pretty good one. I think that was my favorite commercial of the night, even though I did love the Goodwill Dunkin' Donuts one with.
I definitely like that.
I love that one because of all the nostalgia and stuff. That one was a good one as well. But those were my two favorite ones. I thought that the Ring doorbell dog one was a really cool idea. But then I was like, well, they're just going to use that eventually to spy on everybody. But at least they're going to find some dogs
100%.
eventually.
I thought it was a little bit of a down year for commercials.
Yeah, I did too. I like the Budweiser with the beer, the
best one, my
bird,
favorite.
the eagle and the horse.
Free
Are we still
bird,
talking about that?
oh yeah.
I like that one. Naturally, the one with the 104.5 guys on there.
Yeah.
I just throw them in there with Bart Durham.
Yeah.
That
I was like,
cool.
oh, there's Slade. There's Britt.
TV
There
popped
was
up
the
in.
Dunkin' Donuts, as you said. Uber Eats with Matthew McConaughey and Cooper Bradley.
Yeah.
I kind of like that one a little bit. And then there was a Instacart and Ultra beer when
The Instacart
Oh,
one.
yeah, the
Right.
Ultra
Fell
beer
down.
one with the skiing and stuff. That was pretty good.
I like that.
I was cooking while that one was going on, so I didn't really get to pay too much attention to it.
Instacart was where the dude like fell down or something.
Yeah,
I know
yeah,
that
yeah,
one
yeah.
was good.
Yeah, Ben Stiller was in that one part.
Yeah.
He's
Who was in that with Ben Stiller? Does anybody know? Is that the guy that jumps off the piano and
he
the
did
clip?
some flip. Yeah, that's the one I'm talking about.
Yeah.
and Ben Stiller went up there and fell down, about broke his neck.
They had to get a stunt double for that.
I was dying, so that was great.
And as far as the halftime show goes, I've never heard of any of the songs that he has done. I understand this was a halftime show not directed at me. I had like 59 others that were directed at me that hit for me. But I thought the production, the story, the sets, and how it went down, I thought it was very entertaining, even though I have no clue what words were being said.
Yeah, that was one part. I wish they would have had the words up there, and I thought about that. Even I was asking everybody about it, but I thought it was kind of universal as far as trying to merge U.S. and a Latin American country, like what they do over there, and we're all one and everything. So I thought, I don't even know who Bad Bunny is.
He's a great wrestler when he wrestles.
I was gonna say
I had no idea. That is not true, right?
No, he has wrestled.
What?
He's actually really good at it.
Is this true?
Yeah, he wrestled Damian Priest at a couple of pay-per-views for WWE. I mean, as Bad Bunny, as a celebrity wrestler. But he's actually really good. It's not like he went from...
You can't just get in there anyway.
Yeah, but he was really, really good.
Oh, okay. So I thought, it was cool. But it was more political to me. This is how this whole process worked. So.
Yeah. I mean, other than that, I really did think that, hey, that was pretty entertaining. Enjoyed it. Mm-hmm. Someone actually got married. On the
that's what they told us.
That's what they at least told us. Apparently, this couple invited Bad Bunny, but then Bad Bunny invited them to the Super Bowl, and they got married there instead. But I love the storytelling of it's like basically working in the fields and doing all this. I mean, it was about chasing the American dream. The whole set and the story that they told. That was a really good story.
All right, I'm gonna ask you guys this real quick before we go.
Okay.
Top halftime show, if you could, whatever one you think of right off the bat.
I love the Prince one. The Prince one is
Prince.
I'm a big fan of the Katy Perry one because you get two giant tiger robots that she is riding into the stadium.
Oh.
And we're talking massive tiger robots. I'm always going to be a sucker for Transformers and tiger robots.
Oh.
Mine's a little recency bias, but I loved Rihanna's a few years ago. That was one of my favorites.
Yeah, it was good.
She killed it.
There was a few that kind of hit me. I'm gonna go way back to Michael Jackson. That was in the '90s, so that was Usher, Bruno Mars, Janet Jackson, Lady Gaga.
I know why you like that Janet Jackson one.
Yeah, always. And didn't Maroon 5 and Travis Scott do something?
Maroon 5, okay. I think, did.
They were up there. So that's kind of off the cuff.
All right, that will do it for us. This is Cover 2 with Blaine Bishop and Zach Lyons here on 104.5 The Zone. And in the meantime...
And in between time...
Peace.